my friends, I'm Rick. You're not. Little Missy over here in the corner. It is actually Wednesday. I believe it is November 15th of 2023. My truck is finally at the mechanics getting the transmission replaced. Should be down for the next couple of days at least. Probably till Monday or Tuesday, the way things usually go. So I decided to take the day off. I'll go in the office tomorrow and do paperwork and screw around, but other than that, we're good. You know what? It really worries me, America. My friends, my fellow Americans, my neighbors, strangers across the way, across the damn other side of the country. The truth of the fact is that we are never seen more dishonesty, more lying, more deceit and intentional, bullshit in my lifetime. Honest to God, there's so much of it going on. You can't trust anybody. You know, everybody lies. All right, let's just put that out there. I mean, at the end of the day, we all lie. We all fucking lie, right? I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. We all conduct these little white lies every day, all the time, even when we don't mean to. Usually, we do it to look after somebody else. We're not trying to hurt somebody else's feelings, so we might misconstrue something. Or perhaps we don't want to admit our feelings about something, so we cover them up. And that's part of human nature. We'll never get away from that. And there's an element of this that's vital for our social fabric. In order for our social fabric, for the social contract that we all sign up for to be an adult in America, for example, there's certain expectations that are met that we are required to, do our part, kind of thing. And so to have an accurate social interaction with people, you have to have the ability to interact. Well, when you get to the point where you have literally convinced people that a falsehood is true, to the point where they take it as a gospel, they are reluctant to then back down and admit that their side was wrong, ever. And it just escalates from there. So we literally get to a point where nobody talks to nobody, or when they do, it resolves down to fistfights and petty bullshit. Yesterday in Congress, the 14th of November was a grand example of that. What do we see? Supposedly, somebody's elbowing somebody else, even though it was an accident. Well, the other one didn't see it as an accident. They took it as a challenge and responded accordingly. Well, no, that was political, whatever it is, a bunch of petty high school bullshit. Meanwhile, over in the Senate, we see the similar crap. We got a big burly and you're a former MMA fucknut. You're a politician now, not an MMA fighter, a fucking politician. Bernie Sanders is right. Sit down and act like a damn senator, fool. One of 100 damn positions in this country. That makes you a tiny, tiny percentage of people. Y'all need to step the fuck up. All of you. Most of you in Congress today are shameful. Your behavior and your actions are pathetic. And if it's not that, you're enabling these others to be the way they are. You're enabling them. Because that's how we do shit. And we spread lots of little white lies, which become bigger white lies. And then dark lies. Meanwhile, media, we used to trust media. Nobody trusts media now. You're a fool if you don't get your media information from multiple sources. If you solely focus on one, there's a large portion of the country that focuses on. It was the same when I was a kid. When we grew up as kids, we didn't have cable. We didn't have 500 channels. We didn't have unlimited amount of YouTube channels. Those weren't things when I was young. And so we had 3 network channels, and they all had a news show, and the news show was all on about the same damn time. So you couldn't flip back. They did that on purpose. It's kind of like if you notice how their commercials are coordinated today. You can flip between networks and discover that their commercial breaks are about this time to be about the same time as the other networks. Because they understand that people don't want to watch, people generally don't want to watch damn ads for shit they can't pay for. So let's just, and let alone 5,000 political ads. We've already had 2 of the Republican guys drop out, and they're still running their freaking ads here in Iowa. I mean, Scott, for the love of Pete, tell him to stop the damn ads. What's the point? You quit. You're a quitter, Scott. You're a quitter. Oh, you're a great Republican. Because Republicans don't quit, right? No, he saw the writing on the wall and wised up. There's too many people in current Congress that don't know how to wise up. They can't get beyond their petulant, petty self-interest to get any further than what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. So the problem with all the lying and the dishonesty going on at all the levels, the Supreme Court is lying. You got members of the Supreme Court taking advantage of their position and then lying about it. Oh, I didn't. Oh. And to the point where we get this code of ethics which has no teeth. They put down a piece of paper that these people are going, we're the Supreme Court. Fuck you. I'm a Supreme Court justice. I can do whatever I want. Fuck you. I can walk down the middle of New York Street and shoot somebody, and I'd still be Supreme Court justice. Yes, sir. Because that's what they believe. They truly believe that. You know why? Because we gave them that ability to do that. We've allowed that to happen. It snuck up on us, I'm sure. That's not something anybody expected to see as a problem with the Supreme Court. But lo and behold, here we are with a big, ugly problem. And you know what? Here's another thing. To the rest of y'all in the Supreme Court, y'all just as guilty as those fuck asses. Even if you didn't take any bribes or handouts or kickbacks or you know, weren't rubbed or greased or, you know, whatever, you enabled the others to do it. You knew at some level that some of this stuff was going on, and you didn't call them out on it. You didn't call your own people out on it when you should have. You should have policed yourselves first, and when you didn't do that, you didn't call on other people and let them do the policing for you. So you're just as guilty. You know, and this goes back to, you know, I have to wonder how much did Ruth Badenberg, whatever the hell that little gal's name was, she was a hell of a member of the Supreme Court, but yet how much did she know of all this shenanigans and crap going on behind the scenes? Was she oblivious to it? Because if she wasn't, then she's culpable. She's also responsible for this current line of bullshit. So you can't trust what the Supreme Court does. And there are top judges. You can't trust corporations to tell you what's, you know, the truth. They're going to tell you whatever covers what they want in their best interest. Now, you know, we never could totally trust politicians. It's always been kind of a given that preachers, politicians, and used car salesmen are full of shit. That's their job. It's part of the job to spin things up and turn things around. You know, every time I see some of this dramatic, fanatical bullshit, when I see somebody trying to avoid answering a direct question with a direct answer, like normal people would, they want to come up with a bunch of other bullshit that misdirects the question, or somehow allows them to retap something that they want to get out there, and this is just another way for them to circumvent that and get what they want out there. So, the same problem with that is that you can do that too much. You can lean on that too much, and it becomes ethically a problem. The Supreme Court has ethical problems today. Their integrity is in question. Their honesty is in question, and they are losing respect to the people. Congress, like I said, we've always expected our politicians to be a little bit slimy. Kind of goes with the job. But we also expect them to be good about not being obvious about it. So much of the blatant activities that we've been seeing most recently just exposes just how badly that is. So if this is just the crust that we're seeing coming to the top, what the is going on below the surface that we are not seeing? How much of our, you know, most of our government has taken a major hit in the respect department. And this is something that it was beat into me as a kid. This is when I got later in life, it was beat into me again. When, you know, certain things are respected. Boy, you better respect the badge. Boy, you better respect the frickin' office, dude. Or they're going to ass kick you. You're going to you're going to get a lesson one way or another. Now, things might have miled down and changed since then, but I'll tell you what, you didn't cheese off certain people. You don't cheese off a cop that's asking you questions. You don't cheese off the judge that you're sitting in front of. That just goes without saying. You don't cheese off the drill sergeant. You just don't. Just saying. There's certain things. So respect is out the window for most of these entities. Their ethics are at the heart of the problem here. They all lack ethics. They're all dishonest. They have no integrity whatsoever. And these are the people we depend on to run the country and as examples to the rest of the world. I would have loved to see Bernie Sanders give them all a fucking lecture on that. Keep in mind, no matter how heated things get in that damn in the freaking Congress, you are a representation of the people. You're not there acting on your own behalf. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boeberts, Tubervilles, all these ass clowns, this wannabe washed up MMA guy. You're washed up, dude. You're a senator in Congress. You're not an MMA fighter no more. You are no longer an MMA fighter. You're an ex-fighter. So no matter how fit you are, no matter how good you think you are, you're washed up. You moved on. You sailed your ship. Yeah, I spend a lifetime around a lot of people like that. And I've had more than my fair brawls with a few people like that. You know, at the end of the day, you don't kill me, it's on. You know, because if you don't kill me, I'm not done with you. And we're gonna keep. This is gonna keep going. Because at the end of the day, I'm a petty wannabe redneck frickin' uber conservative liberal. Trying to figure that one out, right? So, where's it end? It's not getting better. It's getting worse. And at the end of the, what is the end of the day? The end of the day is stop the fucking lying. The hardest, my uncle, a lot of them. One of my uncles is the one that taught me how to fight, and he taught me. I was 15 when he had a couple of my cousins. Like we all got out in the back, and he says, "Okay, look, you're all young men now. This is going to happen. We need to get a couple ground rules out here. A, we don't hit women under any circumstances. They hit you, roll off. Let it roll off. Do not reply. Do not respond. 2, you don't go around beating up people weaker than you. You just don't do that. 3, you see people doing that and you have the means, you stop them. We have a social contract in America. Far too many Americans will sit back and not do something when they should step forward. Even if it's just from afar and saying, look, dude, I've got you on camera. What you're doing is being recorded, and I'm uploading it. This is going out live right now on whatever platform. You let them know loudly so they know. Number 4. A real man knows how to walk away from a fight. An immature boy fights. Think about that for a minute. You go in the military, the Army teaches you how to fight. More importantly, they teach you when to fight. You just don't fight on a whim. This isn't a brawl fest. We're not all Spartan warriors in a damn, in some kind of cage match. That's not how this shit works. So, a real man, according to my uncle did 2 tours in Vietnam and Special Forces. He's in some kind of reconnaissance bullshit I never quite understood. Anyway, he was a tough cookie. In later years, became a pastor. Became a preacher man in his later years. Did some time in prison. Yeah, he went to Vietnam, came home, went to prison, went back to Vietnam. That's how his life was. So, no such thing as a fair fight. No, number 4, a real man knows when to walk away. You do not have to fight somebody to prove anything. You do not have to prove anything to somebody who thinks they need to stand up. And if they're standing up because you're saying things that hurt their feelings, that's on them. And if they're stupid enough to actually try to lay hands on you, A, explain to them why that's a bad idea. B, sue the fuck out of them. And I'm old enough now that my first go-to is to sue the fuck out of them. You want to lay hands on me, I'm going to own a piece of you. You're going to spend the rest of your life paying me something for your stupidity. Because that's how real adults in America fight these days. Not this petty bullshit that y'all have been pulling. And this lying and this non-stop intentional deception of misconstruing your words or misrepresenting things. It has to come to an end. It's got to slack off. This was what will destroy America, because our whole system is set up on the ability of interacting with each other, compromise, Compromise. It's not possible to get 100% for everybody. Everybody does not get 100% of what they want. It's not possible. So compromise is, how do we all get a piece of the action? How do we all get the best that we can get for the situation? And not all situations are great, and not all answers to those situations are great. But you don't get to, bully and blackmail and intimidate and to give nurples to people to get them to do what you want to support you. Because if you have to do any of that crap, you're not worth supporting. The more and more of the antics of the current Republican Party that come out, some from the gerrymandering, the extreme gerrymandering they're doing. It's not just gerrymandering. They have gone beyond the norms for this stuff. And this constant, in Ohio, they voted, the population of Ohio voted as a consensus. So did 100% of the voters in Ohio agree to legal abortion? No, hell no. A considerable percentage didn't agree to that, voted against it. Welcome to a democracy. This is how republics work. This is the way it works. So the lion's share of enough of the percentage of the population wanted this, and that's what we got. I'm sorry that for the lesser percentage, you didn't get what you wanted. Good luck next time. And there will be a next time, because this is the way this shit rolls. So instead, we threw a petulant tantrum, or worse, intentional, malevolent goddamn action on the part of the Ohio GOP when they sit there and said, "Oh, we're just going to ignore that." No, they're trying to find a way to circumvent the will of their own voters. Hello? These people are trying to, overturn something illegally, and it's not going to work for them, fortunately. Until it does. They keep doing this. That was the whole point of Marjorie Taylor Greene's crying. From the very minute she did it, first thing she did in Congress was to put a motion to impeach Biden. They had nothing for it. No benefit, no proof, no suspicion, no real suspicions. Hearsay. Jesus, look at all the hearsay revolving around Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example. Why hasn't she been impeached and kicked out of office? That's another thing that's bugging me. She's dialed in to this dollar wage crap. So she's going to punish Biden's heads of various government agencies by reducing their pay to $1. And so you're going to force these people to do, so Buttigieg is going to keep doing his job. Hey, Marjorie, you didn't prevent him from getting paid, Marjorie. You may have reduced his wage to $1, but they'll find ways to reimburse him in another manner. He will get reimbursed. Or, come next year's election, y'all won't be in a position of power, because the Republican Party's hell-bent on making sure it's not in a position of power. The harder they fight to hold on to the power, the faster it slips away. That's a true analogy. That's the way shit works too. You're trying everything to the point where everybody is watching you scramble like a desperate mad person, when you just gotta understand the system says it's just not your turn. Your turn will come around again when the Democrats start doing stupid shit on a regular basis, because they'll do it. They always do. Everybody's a people. Human beings are all that way. So Marjorie's bullshit about trying to defund individual heads of the government is going to backfire. Because I can't have a job. I got to support my family. I have to quit. So I got to put somebody else in. And then what will she do? She'll vote to reduce that person's wage. And she'll keep pushing until there's only $1 involved at all. You want to be the head of the FBI, you're only going to get it for $1. So explain to me how that's a good idea. How is so you're putting a person financially in a bad spot. He's entitled to that money. He worked for it. He earned it. He could sue her ass. Whereas being that they're both government workers, I don't see that would go anywhere. Potentially, he could try to sue her. And he can't sue her. The fuck you can't. This is America. Any one of you people could choose to sue me just for being me. I could sue you for being you if I knew who you were, if I had the money to do that. But to what end? That's just it. To what end? I'm going to waste time, money, resources on a petty lawsuit that's going to fail. Because you're going to get in front of a judge, and the judge's going to slap it down, and then you're lucky they don't slap you for wasting everybody's time. That's what she's doing. She's just wasting people's time trying to be impotent or being potent and somehow make it look like I don't know what. But it's not working. It's not working. It's just all this dishonesty and lying and stuff. There was a time in my life when I was a fairly dishonest individual. I had no problems spending all kinds of stuff up, and the problem is over time it becomes harder and harder to maintain it. And if you're just doing it for entertainment, it's one thing to be a liar for entertainment purposes. It's another thing to deceive people for gain or benefit. And as a default, most men and most women are natural born liars. We learn to lie from earliest days, because it's how we avoid problems. This is how we avoid getting punished for some stuff. This is how we sidestep petty things. We blame it on somebody else. We blame it on the cat. We blame it on the wind. I don't know what happened. It wasn't me. It was nobody, right? But it doesn't stop there. At some point, you have to stop. So at one point, I stopped and I realized, look, honesty is much better. And I'm not going to lie there neither. Honesty hurts. Being an honest, truthful person isn't always the easiest path to take. Because you have to be more open and acknowledging your own problems and your own follies and foibles and issues. You also have to understand that most people don't want to hear the truth. We've all invented these literal fantasy worlds of our own, and it's always funny because I sit here, which y'all on this channel may or may not know, is that I have another channel on YouTube that's quite a bit more successful than this one, and I do videos on role-playing games and other tabletop games. As a matter of fact, this game here, this is my game. I made this. Right? There's 2 more books to go with it. It ain't quite Dungeons and Dragons by any means, but the fact is that I do a lot of those, so I'm quite well versed in the understanding of creating a fantasy world setting and how to how to immerse yourself in that fantasy setting. This is why we go to movies. This is why we watch the TV shows we do. Most of the entertainment shows we watch is so we can get away from our own immediate problems and the bigger problems of the world for a little moment and be in somebody else's window, or sit on somebody else's couch and deal with the stuff. It's like when I was in the late 80s and early 90s when Married with Children was such a big hit. I watched all the episodes. I loved the show. And the irony behind me is that I saw the Bundys in my family. I saw all kinds of people in that TV series in my real world. So I could fully comprehend and understand what the hell they were saying and doing. And first time in American history, we actually saw a TV show on TV showing what a real American family of the lower middle class goes through on a regular basis. It was made in humor and ways to be funny, but that's it. That's right. And let's be truthful. Al Bundy. Yeah, Ted Bundy. Al Bundy. He would be a MAGA guy today if he was a real person and not a fictional character. Just because of the way he was raised and the environment he was raised in and how he's been forced to live his whole life. No matter how hard he works, no matter what he does, he gets stuck. He gets screwed. You get frustrated, or you get despondent. You just give up. You just do. So, America, my friends, we got to stop this bullshit. We got to hold these people accountable. Trump keeps going on about how the Biden stole the election. Biden stole nothing. He didn't steal nothing. Trump lost. Trump hates to lose. It's coming out more and more and more, and will keep coming out even more over the next year of just how much that man had no intentions. He was flat out telling his people, "We're not leaving. I don't give a fuck who gets elected president. I'm president. We're staying." Is that the kind of America you want? I have to ask, is that the kind of America you really truly want? You really think that this kind of government that we're potentially facing, that we're looking at, quite close mirror to Nazism in the 1930s in Germany? That's what that really. I mean, it just. Every time I hear Trump run his mouth, I keep hearing Hitler. Literally, lately it's been literally word for word. He's quoting fucking Hitler and other fascists. The same shit, the very same shit. And some that have been a little more modernized for our current age. But the rhetoric's still the same. And it's this rhetoric of hate and isolationism and destruction. Name one dictatorship that survived. Name one. You know, I can think of a few. And how is it they managed to stay in, North Korea? The North Korean leader is the leader because his dad was the leader. And I believe his dad was the leader. That's how they became the leaders. And they keep their people under such a tight grip. They have no freedoms over there. They have the freedom of illusion and starvation and depravity. You work for the system maybe takes care of you. You cross the system and they kill you or make you wish you were dead. Is that the kind of America you want to live in? Republican GOP MAGA wannabe base out there? I've asked you guys this to your face. People get irate. More often than not, they get confused. They don't understand. They can't see because of the lies, the hate, the deceit, and the misinformation that's been fire hosed down their throats by their own people. Just how much that their own people are screwing them over. You're gonna have freedoms. Freedoms for what? What freedoms? The Germans under the Nazi Party had a lot of freedom, and they had the freedom to live in terror of their own government showing up at their doorstep for anything. They had the right to live in terror of the neighbors having affiliations with the Nazi Party, doing something to piss them off and having the Nazi Party show up at your door. Do you want to live like that? Is that the kind of America you want? You want to talk about a civil war? That is how we'll have a civil war. That's how a civil war gets started in this country. There's a lot of people talking about it right now, but you ain't crossed that line yet. When you cross that line, it's us or them. And in case you ain't been keeping track, MAGA America, Republican America, we outnumber you. Between the Democrats and the independents and the sane people of this country, based on the percentages of the votes and stuff, at the end of the day, we outnumber you. So yeah, some of you will vote for shit, but when it comes down to the wire, when we see, the women's rights stuff in Ohio, a lot of Republicans voted for that too, to get the numbers of approval that they got. The very fact is so many Republicans are actually voting for some of these programs are shocking and scaring their leadership. They don't understand it. They themselves do not understand what's going on. We are in an extremely volatile and dangerous situation these days, and I honestly do not know. I don't think any of us can predict what's coming and how this is going to play out. And we all need to do our parts. Whatever the hell that part may be is up to you. If you truly believe that fascism and Nazism is the thing for America to try next, keep doing what you're doing. You're going to get what you want at the rate we're going. You're likely to get it, and then you're going to wish you hadn't had it. You're going to wake up and find out that these people are not your friends. They don't care about you one lick. And if they want your money and they want power so they can do whatever they want, you just, you suffer the blibos for that. Or there's actually a worse or here, isn't there? In my opinion. This is just my opinion. I should probably have do a whole video, but I just should do a video specifically on this topic. But let's be honest here. Trump is the least of our problems now. No, it's guys like this Speaker of the House. Mr. Johnson there. Yeah, those sorts get any more power than they got now, or are able to leverage the power that exists to do their bidding, will wreck the world. World War III will be a legitimate thing, and it will come. You cannot have a national Christian church-led America and not have genocide follow, not have massive invasions follow. And if you think the world, including our current allies, will stand by while we do that, let's just hope we don't find out. Let's just hope I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Let's just hope I don't envision that horrific future that is just around the corner from us. Which corner are we going? We take that wrong corner, and there's a lot of y'all want us to go that way. There's a lot of y'all want us to go just to see the place. You want the country to burn. You're so frustrated with your life and how you grew up and how you were treated and your opportunities and the lack thereof, and the fact that no matter how hard you tried, you're still not where you ought to be. We should be better, in a better position than our parents. That's how this is supposed to work, not worse. So when I hear about the entire younger generation is doing much worse than their parents, really? That's not new. Where the fuck were you at? Where were you when the previous group generation, then the current one's really screwed over. The previous one was starting to feel the screwing. They realized somebody was groping them in a very unfriendly way. Because that's what that is. It's an analogy to this. Prior to that, we get to my generation. My generation, I'm not quite sure. I'm not a baby boomer, but I'm not in this the millennial crap. I was a Generation X at the very tail end, at the very beginning of the Generation X crap, I guess. Whatever that transition was, 1966. So we have a very unstable situation and a whole lot of unstable people in power who won't shut up about, and they won't stop. They won't tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Go back to the little white lie part, at least. No, you want this place to burn. I have cousins, and I grew up with people in school, and I hung out a lot of people's houses when I was younger. This is probably another reason I'm reluctant to be social these days, because you just never know what you're going to... It's so hard to make friends anymore. So, back in the day, these were anti-establishment people. A lot of the MAGA base today, a lot of the diehard Trumpers, these are not normal Republicans. These are not your grandparents and your parents' Republicans of America. These are people like Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead wants to rule America. That's a topic for a damn video. You know what? That's a topic for a video. I think I'm gonna write that one down, right? Because that one actually... God, wouldn't that be a horrible movie? Huh? Right? So these people hate the establishment. They hate authority. They're scared of them. They're scared of the establishment because the government, more often than not, screws them over. They don't get very little. Most of these people depend on government programs in one form or another. They do. Their kids do. Their grandkids do. Somebody in their immediate family is getting food stamps or getting WIC or getting heating assistance. That's what I'm fixing to do this afternoon. I'm going to go down to the local community place which is like 15 miles away, by the way. So I'm going to spend $8 worth of gas, $5 worth of gas to drive up there, and we're going to apply for heating assistance for this winter. Because we are hurting bad, and much worse than I want. I don't even want my wife to understand just how tight things. I think she knows, but things are really tight, and so we need to save money, and we need to do it today. So if we can, the heating program is money from the government to help poor people keep from freezing to death. Sounds like a great plan. Oh, now hey, I paid several $1,000s in taxes to my government this year. I expect maybe get a few $100s back from them, but I paid in my share of taxes. I made almost 42,000 to date, and so I owe whatever taxes I paid on it. So I paid those taxes. So this program will will send $250 to our utility company, and from that $250, they'll pay our utility bill until that $250 is run out. Well, my utility bill is $129 or $126 a month right now. So at $250, that will allow me to not have to worry about paying my utility bill in December and January. That means for Christmas, my wife and I will have an extra $120 in our pocket. That's a big deal. So my other bill that I'm going to have to address even sooner, or as soon as I can, is my internet access. I don't know what you pay for your internet, but I'm paying $129 a month to Mediacom for internet. There's nothing else, just the internet, $129. I'm at a disadvantage because I'm in an unincorporated area. So the only cable service that comes through, or the only cable unit that comes through here at the moment is Mediacom. So they're the only outlet I have at the moment. Until some other stuff opened up. There's a rival companies because of the government, our government money going into infrastructure. They have been working really, really hard in Iowa over the past 10 years to put down fiber optics everywhere. They want the entire state to be hardwired, and they're doing their level best to do that. So back in the summer, we had a crew come through from a company called MetroNet or whatever, and they're laying out fiber optics and regular cables. So they're putting their own cables through the neighborhood. So now they'll be in competition with Mediacom. So that will be two rivals in our neighborhood. Wonder how that would affect the overall price. All right. Meanwhile, the only way to get discounts from Mediacom, you get it for $29 a month. Only when you're a new subscriber. After that, they stick it to you. They stick it to you with a vengeance. And then you go and you wait. They wait and wait for you to call and cry. You call and bitch at them. Then we'll give you a favor, and so they'll knock $20 off your bill. They're still sticking it to you. If they can charge a new person $29, then how much is my $129 is profit for them? I mean, I get it. You're giving a discount to some people, so the idea is to encourage them to stick with you. Okay. Well, now I keep hearing ads from Verizon about a little portable portable hotspot I can basically get for the house, $50 a month. And I've talked to 2 different people who have one, and they're happy with them. They don't seem to have any issues with them. And since, it's just me using the internet around here, I don't download a bunch of movies. I don't download, but the biggest things I upload is videos to YouTube. Right? That's my concern. As long as this thing can handle doing that, it'll be worth the investment. So do I, $129 a month or $50? Which way would you go? All right? So, where do we go from here? How do we stop the lying? How do we stop the dishonesty, the poor ethics, the piss poor ethics, the lack of integrity in our elected officials? And the officials, not just the elected officials, but the officials that are appointed by those elected officials. The Supreme Court were not elected into their office. We did not vote for the Supreme Court. The Senate decided who was going to be on the Supreme Court, and the president rubber stamped it. Right? So the people we voted to the Senate had some say in who gets to be the Supreme Court, but at the end of the day, the Supreme Court doesn't get elected. And there's all the department heads and senior positions in all the government agencies. It's the same way, right? We got to get the lying to stop. We have to get media to stop lying. What bothers me is not just the fact, like I said, we know Fox is a propaganda network. It's blatantly one. It's been one for a while now. The very fact it came out years later that was the whole point it was created in the first place was to give the Republican Party its own media source. And Murdoch figured he'd make money off of it. He damn well wouldn't have done this if he couldn't make money off of it. I guarantee you, he would be running they had to run a completely different network if that had been true. But that said, I used to watch that Maddow character from MSBN for a while. And then it came out, she admitted that she was lying. Oh, yeah, I lie all the time. Okay, why? Why lie? What's the value in this? The world, the antics and bullshit that goes on a regular basis in this country don't need embellished. It don't need embellishment. If anything, the embellishment is detrimental to the cure. Where these people are lying so much they don't see the lies anymore, and they're getting confused by their own damn lies. And they don't see it, or they do see it and they don't care. And I think that's probably more important than people who don't. People who do shit because they're stupid, well, ain't they sweet? People do stupid shit on purpose that know it's stupid. Why? Why did you do that? What is your motivation? What is your, usually what is your malfunction? What is your motivation? Why did you say that? Why did you twist the blatant opposite? And I have to point out, I'll point this one last thing out, right? Because it's been eating on my mind here for a while now, and I just trying to get my grips and understand exactly how this shit plays out. And then, of course, I start to lose the train of thought, too. Isn't that sucky? Pestering me all damn day. I spent half the day driving 2.5 hours one way to a job, and half the time was just listening to YouTube stuff and pondering this crap. Have you noticed that every Republican today and Republican supporter today on media or in the media are accusing the other side of doing everything they're doing? So they accuse the Republican, Trump, and there, we're gonna root out the vermin. Dude, that is carte blanche from Hitler. And I think it's right out of his Mein Kampf, too. Yeah, I read that book. I wouldn't, I read it to understand what was in it, because I knew other people who read it, and I wanted to know what they might have seen in it. So I read it. I read a lot of crap that I didn't think I would ever read, but sometimes you need to know, or you should know. Anyway, so these people, they're going to root out the vermin, he says. Because they lie and cheat and manipulate to steal elections, They weaponize the government, like the Department of Justice. Geez, Marjorie, why haven't you defunded him? Why haven't you gone after what's-his-face, the head of the DOJ, and reduced his pay to $1? Why don't you just reduce all of their pay to $1? Because you know what? We should reduce your pay to $1. As an American taxpayer, I am dissatisfied by the service of the people that I'm paying to do that service. The American public, me and you, who pay our taxes, pay Congress, pay the Senate, pay the White House to do what we ask them to do as best they can. And we expect to get something for our money. So, these people will sit there and everything they say that the other side's doing, the Republicans are blatantly doing it. And they're doing it right then and there. In some cases, they literally did the thing that they then point fingers at the other guys for doing and say, you did it. It's like McCarthy when he kept losing those, when he kicked his ass out of the speakership. Well, 8 people from the MAGA party and the Democrats, they had a choice. Yeah, the Democrats had a choice, except what was their choice again? The Republican Party has absolutely repeatedly said they don't want to work across the aisle. As a matter of fact, some elements of the current Republican Party, Marjorie Taylor Greene comes to mind, would actually have the other party taken out back and shot. So everything the Republican Party is actually doing, they're accusing the Democrats of doing it. And part of the frustrating part is that little the media talks about that. Very few people mention that the duplicity going on here. It's being mentioned. It's becoming more blatant, and people are now talking about it who weren't. But it's still not getting the attention it ought to. And then there's the the ratchet factor that keeps going up. Why the Democrats are not challenging that crap more is beyond me. But we get ourselves into a weird situation. So what's his face, the senator, former washed up former MMA fighter turned bully boy, is a good example of that. The most of the Democrats are adults. A lot of them are really old adults, and they understand there's supposed to be a way this is worked out, and they have roles to play, and they're terribly confused by the fact that the current Republican Party is not playing the role they're supposed to play, and they're not playing it like they're in the way that it's always been played, which can be okay because we're changing things up. Can be very bad because it's changing. It's never a good time. Change is never a good time. It's never a good time. Climate change is terrible. We can't do anything about it right now. We just keep, you know what happens when you kick that can down the road too much? Every time you kick that can down the road, you increase the risk of something running over it and flattening it. There you go, America. These people are going to lie and cheat and steal their way to destroying America, literally. And they want a civil war. They're going to keep pushing it until this lying will tip us into one. And the side that will be started by the wrong side, too. And the sad part is their side will lose it. As a student of history, as a fan of history, you go back to the Civil War, the only real Civil War America's ever dealt with on a first-hand basis. You go in there, and the South had no chance in hell of winning a military campaign against the North. They just didn't. Economically speaking, they didn't. So they went into it, and what did they do? They failed, and they lost. And they lost badly. And here we are, many generations later, and the resentment is still festering down there. This resentment is still festering, except it's not just down in the South anymore. Because why? Because most of these people have moved. A lot of those Southerners moved around. They're in other states now, and their kids and their grandkids are in other states now. And they brought that inbred hatred of America at the end of the day, although they'll be fervent deniers of that. It's because in their minds they don't equate the two as the same thing. They don't see, it's not their view is completely polar opposite, and it's hard for them to they can't grasp what we see and what we grasp. I'm just saying. Anyway, till next time, it is what it is. It just irritates me to no end.